Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to my second vlog, my second video. I don't know what I'm doing. I felt like, you know what, I want to post every Wednesday, so I might as well commit to one day and work hard to give you guys good content and to talk to you guys about myself, what I do, and the reasons I do what I do. Let me just give you a little background about who I am. My name is Emel and my nickname is Leap of Hope. And the reason why I chose this specific nickname was because, firstly, you know the whole concept of leap of faith, but my name is Hope. So I'm taking a leap into the unknown and having hope that everything would work out okay. Which is ironic because there are lots of leaps in parkour. So technically it's a 2-in-1. I'm taking a leap of hope, literally and metaphorically. Okay? But so not cheesy. I quit my job as a graphic designer. I studied 4 years, then I worked for 4 years, so that's a total of 8 years of my life doing graphic design. And pretty much I decided that this wasn't for me and I decided to pursue parkour, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. Firstly, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, a lot of the things that I talk about is, you know what, you need to choose what you're willing to struggle for, and I realized very quickly that I wasn't willing to struggle for graphic design. It just made me miserable. I didn't enjoy it. Beautiful projects came out of what I did, but I hated the process. But the process took most of my time. It made me mad. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I just spent hours and hours and hours and hours behind a computer, suffering and dying a little inside. I feel like if you're a graphic designer, you kind of know what I'm going through. But, you know, for other people, everyone that I worked with, they liked what they were doing. But for me, I just felt like I was always questioning it. And there was something wrong. Why am I always questioning what I'm doing? I needed to take a step back and kind of analyze the situation. Basically, what happened afterwards, I realized that, you know, I lost a lot of myself in the process of graphic design because I always had an athletic background, and when I spent time behind a computer, I lost my social side, I lost my athletic side. I was just me, myself, and I with an electronic device, which is pretty lonely. What's amazing about sports is that you start understanding yourself more, and I felt like we always give ourselves labels. We always, you know, when you graduate, you're a graduate. And when you start a full-time job, you're an employee. And then when people ask you what you do, you tell them you're a graphic designer or whatever. And like, that becomes who you are. But in reality, you're working for other people. You're never really working on yourself. You lose your sense of self and all of that. And that's what happened with me. What's amazing about sports is that you start having a conversation with yourself. As crazy as that sounds, but your mind and your body start working in sync for you to be able to do the things that you do. For me, that's super important because we stop having conversations with ourselves when we have full-time jobs. We stop asking ourselves the hard questions, you know, because we're making a living. Why do you like your job? Because I finish on time, because I have time to do my own thing after my work, or because of the benefits, but it was never the job itself. I never said that I enjoyed what I did. It reminds me of a story of a guy who wanted to be a musician, yeah? So he always thought about, you know, people chanting his name, him filling out concerts and seeing his picture all around. But in reality, when it came to it, when he started learning the guitar, just that, and he found that process to be so tedious. He hated the process. That process of learning how to be a musician killed him. And he's like, that's not what I want to do. But then he realized that he cared so much about the outcome that he forgot about the process. So let me give you a little definition of what parkour is. Parkour is going from point A to point B in the quickest and most efficient manner while you're overcoming obstacles. But in reality, the obstacles that you're overcoming are the ones in your mind. You realize very quickly that everything that you tend to think you can't do is really in your head, but physically you're capable of doing it. So parkour includes things like climbing, vaulting, jumping, rolling, and all kinds of stuff. And it's amazing because you start learning to do things And you start understanding different ways of using your body instead of the conventional squats, running, because that's what girls think when they go to the gym, right? That's what they're trying to sell you, basically. And for me, that was an issue because they were giving people workouts to fix things. Like, everything that they did at the gym was to fix something that was wrong with them, and that's how they thought about the gym. They're there to fix who they were rather than to learn who they are. To start understanding that your body isn't there to look good, girl. Ultimately, the reason why I decided to do parkour was because I didn't want the gym to be a place girls go to punish themselves for the things they've eaten. I wanted the gym to be a place where they learn about themselves, where they love what they're capable of, where they start learning that their body's there to carry them, to build them, and not there to break them down. Even though you might be making a living, that does not necessarily mean that you're happy. And for me, the hardest thing to convince myself, because we always think, okay, if you have money, you have to be happy. But if you're miserable making that money, you won't even do anything useful with the money you're making. Yes, it's a struggle trying to make things work, but I have learned that the struggle is what makes things worth it. And if you don't love the struggle, you don't love what you're struggling for, then there's an issue. And maybe that's an indicator that you need change. I'm not saying change should be something drastic like quitting your job, and maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's not about your job. Maybe it's like you're not doing anything that's filling your soul with energy. We're not here to go from A to B in such a linear way. We're here to experience everything. And the process is what makes all the difference. For me, that's what I learned. And if I didn't love the process, then I wouldn't have continued doing parkour after breaking my arm. I would have stopped and be like, I hate the world. I decided to go back to my job. It's like, this is not for me. But because I believe in my process so much, I believe in my struggle being there for a bigger cause, for a bigger purpose in life, that's why I decided to stay. So I guess it's up to you to decide what you're willing to struggle for. And that's about it. Cut!